with mind, body, and soul. And we are just starting our beautiful Monday night with the day
Yes.
of the moon. We got that lunar energy vibe going on tonight. The weekend
We
just
got a
kind of,
new moon coming up too in a couple of days.
yeah. And I'm really happy that it's going to start being a little bit warmer, I think. We were talking to Lady Selena the other day on Sunday how the Holly King is coming for his, and it's time to warm up. So we welcome in the Holly as the Holly grows up a little bit and gets a little bit more powerful, and that sun just kind of warms up a little bit.
Oh,
I've had enough of this dark time of the year.
please, I hate this vortex stuff.
So Joanne, what's the topic tonight?
Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about self-care. Because right now, I don't know if you've heard of the Schumann resonance scale. That is a scale that measures the collective energy that we humans give off on Earth. And right now, it is like, if you look at it, I believe there's some spots for it online and some sites for it online that you can look up, and on Facebook and other places, YouTube probably, that you can find this information. And what it is it takes a daily measurement of the human energy field. And lately, it is off the charts with human, it's reading in the red. The energy is amped up high collectively. So if you're feeling tired, agitated, aches and pains that you can't explain, headaches, ringing in the ears, these are all due to the Schumann resonance scale. When it amps up, it means basically the collective is in turmoil. And basically, between natural disasters, political stuff, you name it, the vibe is just crazy. So the first thing I want to do is pull out an oracle card from Kyle Gray's The Raise the Vibration Oracle, which will tell us all as a collective, hey, what do we want to do to kind of what do we need to do to raise our vibration higher?
Forgiveness brings freedom.
Mm-hmm. And that's a pretty powerful statement right there. And I know people are going to say, and I know I had issues with this in the past, and I don't know about you. I still have to fight with it sometimes. Forgiveness is hard because we seem to see it as, I have to forgive you and now everything's all right and goes back to normal. But then I heard somewhere, I was listening to a lecture, and the person said, forgiveness is not an emotion, right? Because what we're thinking about is the emotions that come with forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is a choice. It doesn't have to feel good. So even though you might be still angry at the person or not want to, take part in whatever they do or be their BFF again, forgiveness is a choice. And when you forgive them, basically what you're doing is you're cutting off that cord from you, and you're filling it in with hope and gratitude for the people in your life that are meaningful and by your side and stand by you. So basically, you can still forgive and feel bad. And that really changed my view of forgiveness, because I always thought, oh, if you forgive somebody, you have to feel good after. And I'm like, I don't feel good. Sometimes you feel more angry, and that's perfectly okay, because forgiveness is a choice. It's not an emotion.
Forgiveness is a choice, not an emotion. Right. Yeah, emotion. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, forgiving someone. It, it's no secret I'm from the streets, Joanne. So like, when you say like I forgive you or people forgive you, the first thing I think is like those Hollywood movies where like these old Italian, and I'm Southern Italian, so I'm allowed to say this.
I'm Italian too.
They say we forgive, but we'll never forget. So is
Don't
that
have to.
is that a healthy thing to do, to forgive somebody but just never forget, what it is?
Absolutely, because, excuse me, if somebody hurts you or does something bad to you, of course it depends on what it is, right? I mean, if you drink my soda, that's not something that I'm never going to forgive you for the rest of your life, and I'll always remember that soda you took from me in 1992.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for the bigger things, absolutely,
Fire Jewel
it's
Howard
okay
in
to
the house.
remember.
Fire Jewel Howard in the house. Thanks for joining us for this segment Monday night, Mind, Body, and Soul with Joanne for the Witchcraft TV Tarot series. Joanne has a master's degree in psychology, dealing with trauma, works with children, and throws cards.
Dangerous combo. But no, forgiveness, you don't have to forget. You don't have, that's the whole point of it. The forgiveness is for you to release that person from your life, is basically what it is. That's why it says forgiveness is freedom, because what it's doing is it's transforming that into your freedom. You're releasing that emotion and giving it to spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. That's where you're releasing that energy to, and you're not letting it hold power over you. Doesn't mean it's going to feel good. You still might feel angry. You still might feel agitated. You still might feel sad. We're not talking about taking away the emotion, but we are talking about releasing that hold that it has over you.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive you, and you move on, and I don't mean move on like as it, oop, everything's all right. Like I said, that's not what it means. But the forgiveness is just a choice, because even if you don't feel it, our subconscious is always listening to us. So even if you don't believe something, even if you're like, oh, I forgive this person, but in your head, you're like, oh, I want to poke their eyes out. You know what I mean? Your subconscious is still listening to you. And it's going to help you to release that energy. And you might cry, you might get angry, but as you do that over time, that hold that person has over you lessens. That grip that they have over you, over that anger. Because why do you want them to rent space in your head?
Right.
So forgiveness doesn't mean they're not accountable for what they did. Forgiveness is for you. You're like, all right, I know what's up. I know what you did. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. That I'm letting you go, whatever it is, however way you have to look at it. See, it's breaking the chain. If you look, see the chain? Because
Right.
when you're in that anger, you're blocking that flow. When you're in anger, yes, it's higher than depression on the emotional scale, but you're still not reaching that better vibration to be in. You know what I mean?
Right. It makes me think of a lot of times people in our community talk about shadow work. It's and it's kind of a new, like even 10 years ago in like craft conversations, anywhere you go, no one was really talking about shadow work. And if they were talking about shadow work, they were talking about it, but they weren't coining it with the term, shadow work. And to me, shadow work is just coming right from like Carl Jung's textbook, and it was kind of just, implicated into, a spiritual lesson. But it sounds a lot like shadow work. In some aspects, I feel like anger might actually save your life, like the whole fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
Fight or flight and tapping into your shadow, where your shadow might keep you alive someday. But being able to forgive other people, I think it's just being nice to yourself. Like, be nice.
Well,
to
that's what
yourself,
Fire
right?
Jewel just said. Sometimes it includes forgiving yourself for allowing to happen, if that's the case. And it is. Like I said, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person so much as it is for you.
Yeah.
But the problem is we have turned forgiveness into an emotional thing. Like forgive, oh, I'm sorry, okay, and everything's all right. But that's not what it is. Like we're not talking about, Joanne ate Jeremy's leftovers last night And, I'm sorry. Okay. No problem. We're talking about the bigger things, the bigger things that are done to us, the people that hurt us, the people that don't show up, forgive them and send them on their way, and learn from the experience. Like Fire Jewel says, learn from that.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for watching Witchcraft TV Tarot. It is a social media show and also rebroadcast on our station on www.witchcrafttv.online. And we are offering readings and spiritual advice with our Monday night co-host, Joanne, with the segment of Mind, Body, and Soul. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the chat room there. If you want a reading or a generalized reading or a particular question, put them in the comments there. Your zodiac helps out. Your sun sign helps out. If you don't know your zodiac or any of that information, you can just put in your birthday. Most likely, our viewers know their sun signs. Most likely. Joanne has a master's degree in psychology, is the host of the hit pagan show and podcast Inside the Sacred Circle with her co-host, the famous Jim Sayers. And they have live shows happen all the time. And those shows also rebroadcast right here on Witchcraft TV.
Yep. My partner in crime, Jim, who's trapped in the muggle world, always working. He's always tired. But he does phenomenal things for us, and I wouldn't want to have anybody else going down that road with me on that,
Fire Jewel Howard in the chat. Sorry, Joanne. Fire Jewel Howard in the chat room. I don't need a reading. I just really liked what you have to say.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Tonight I wanted to talk a little bit because these energies and, we're angry at people and choices that they've made. And I think that forgiveness part actually fits in really well. Because, we've all had people annoy us lately with their view or just their attitude or their, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. GZ in the chat room, good evening. Stopped in to say they're still at work, though they may not be able to watch the whole show. And that's fine. Thanks so much for stopping by. And they loves that Sacred Circle. Yeah, it's a real good, positive show. It really is. And I actually appreciate the show. Because with all of the, dealings with Witchcraft TV and the tit for tat and like all of the, the day-to-day activities that I go through, sometimes it's cool just to go into like a space, and that space is a lot of the platforms that Inside the Sacred Circle run with Jim and Joanne, and they just like don't allow any type of, I don't want to say arguments, I want to say just any opposing forces. It's just kind of like you're either going to go with the ebb and flow or like get out. And I'm just like, you know what? Witchcraft TV needs to be more like that. So it's definitely good to have people as positive in the community like Jim and Joanne. Like I was saying
we don't
earlier,
like to play in the wars. We don't want to hear it. We don't care. We don't want it in our inbox. And we don't.
So yeah, the topic of today is forgiving others so you can kind of clear the room, forgive. And when you forgive others, you're kind of putting it in perspective that, it's not always your problem. It's their problem.
Exactly.
Once you forgive them and you've made amends and you've said, look, I've done this wrong and I've learned from it. After that, it's over with. Like there's no more work to be done. The ball's kind of in their court because the forgiveness has been had.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. They can go off and do whatever. Hopefully they change. But if they don't, it's not your responsibility to show them what they did wrong. You know what I mean? It's not your job to teach them right from wrong. A good friend should know what a good friend, it's kind of simple, what requirements of friendship are and when you cross those boundaries. And right now, we're so focused on division, This person, is this religion, or they're this political view, or their pronouns, whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody is so at odds, and it's like, united we stand, because things aren't going to change unless we change that attitude. We are all connected by one strand of DNA. No matter what color, religion, political view, sexual orientation you are, we're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to just really accept each other and meet each other at the level that we're at, and understand that we're all hurting right now for different reasons. And we don't want to take that anger and that division moving forward, because like I said, what you focus on is what's going to happen around you, right? If you're negative all the time, that's all you're going to have is negative, chaotic people around you. And I've proven this point to myself 100 times. When I withdraw and I limit my media time, I'm pretty strict on it now. I'm on in the morning and I'm on at night, and that's it. And my timeline has changed. I'm engaging more with the people I care about, and seeing the content that I want to see. Does it empower me? The way I look at gossip is, if somebody's gossiping about you or is gossiping to you about someone, chances are they're doing it to you too. Yeah. So I try to abstain from that as much as possible. It is what it is. I look at it, I observe, I'm like, okay, lesson learned. But I don't belittle people, because like Don Miguel Ruiz said, it's not about you. Don't take it personally. Mm-hmm. When somebody is bad to you, it's not necessarily about you. It's about them, and something that's inside of them isn't resonating, is getting irritated by what they're seeing, whether it's because they want to do it and they can't, or they wish they could, or sometimes it is just flat out envy, whatever the case may be. That's what they have to work on, not necessarily what you have to work on.
Mm-hmm. In the chat room, Rosemary Kennedy Kinney, peaceful discussions, absolutely. Thanks for coming to watch us on Witchcraft TV Tarot. Fire Jewel Howard, difference of opinion gives perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Jewel Howard, as humans, we need that for education.
Yeah, you have to have different perspectives. We're not all the same. We're not.
She goes into saying, I don't care about gossip. I say the truth will out.
Be unapologetically, authentically you. Absolutely.
How does one, and I want the viewers to know that if you would like a reading from Joanne, just say so in the comments.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. My husband just handed me hot chocolate chip cookies that are gooey. So
I'm just like, well, how does one do that, Joanne?
It's not easy. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be at that point and say, I forgive this person. But what it's doing is it's creating that thought, that seed in your mind. Right? And how do we do that? You know what I'm going to say. The inner work. Are you doing the work? Are you going inside and digging and looking at that mirror and looking at the parts of yourself you might not like to see?
Right.
And that's hard. And that is extremely hard. The only way I can do, that I can suggest for people is to start small, right? We all, as humans, especially in today's world, we look at the whole picture. And then that kicks in the fear, right? Because as humans, what do we want to know? We want to know what's going to happen next, right? We want to know what's over that mountain, what's around that corner. Yeah. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. So, and a lot of us, through conditioning, of life in general, we're like, okay, I like, even though this situation isn't great, I like it. I know how to navigate my way around it. I'm used to it. It's, you know what I mean? I've become assimilated to this, reality that I'm living. And it's easy for me to navigate. I just want to stay here. It's comfortable. Even though it might be toxic, even though the river might be rising and it's going to flood, but you're still comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to eventually move forward so you don't get flooded out by the water.
Right.
And that's a lot of the problem. We don't know what's going to happen, and not knowing holds us back. So instead of looking at the whole picture, break it down into small attainable goals. All right. If you could wake up tomorrow in your perfect reality for yourself, what would that look like to you? What would that world look like to you? I get up, I have a great job, my family is thriving, what are all these different things? All right. So what's one small step you can do today to move towards that change? And that could be anything. If it's a fitness goal, maybe start by, all right, I'm going to stop drinking soda. Or I'm going to eat less carbs. And you start small and you work from there. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to solve a problem that has taken years to compound due to traumas and programming overnight. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to really take it a step at a time. And one of the biggest ways to do this is just to practice some self-care. And I'm going to stress this again because self-care, if you look at my post this week, I'm trying to show people that it doesn't have to be this big, huge process where, oh, now I got to take an hour out of my day in the morning and at night and light candles and take a shower and have incense and do this and do an altar devotion and run around with a candle and sage. That is not what it is. Sometimes self-care, and I do this a lot for my clients, I have these videos that are called 20 Seconds of Zen. Sometimes all you just need is 20 seconds to just step back and calm your mind and put yourself back into a perspective. And basically, when I go on road trips, I take these 20-second videos of the ocean or wherever I happen to be. And it's just 20 seconds of just peace. And you step back, and I use it with my kiddos that I work with a lot, and they like it. Because they can go in the bathroom at school and, go in the stall and, watch it for a second and decompress a little bit. But, and even I send it to the older people too, the adults I work with, they like it. And it's just stepping back and taking a few minutes and then just saying, thank you, thank you to whoever you say thank you to. And
real quickly, shout out to Alex Floki Kruger, a mystic pagan rapper in the building, in the chat room. Thanks so much for supporting Witchcraft TV Tarot. A few comments I want to go over. GZ says, yes, small steps leads to big changes. I like the whole baby step thing, like crawl before you walk, that's crawl before you walk, like easy stuff, sometimes we got to be reminded of this stuff,
Yeah.
And I do on the base on a daily basis. Fire Jewel Howard said it can be your favorite cup of tea.
Absolutely. Fire Jewel is on it. Absolutely.
GZ says 100% love pouring. I'm not sure of the emoji. Something into myself as much as I could.
Yeah. Filling your cup. You got to fill your cup, because how are you going to manage or help anybody else if your cup is empty? And like I said, we always look at the whole picture. And let's face it, you're not going to get from here to the top of Mount Washington in an hour. You're not, you might not even make it in a day, depending on how fast you walk or your physical fitness. You got to take it at your level. You know what I mean? You can't just change overnight. And, we've become an instant gratification society because we have everything at the touch of our fingertips, right? So why can't I get gratification in my mental health overnight, because it's not an overnight thing. It's not something a couple of videos online is gonna help you with. It involves consistent work. You have to work on your mind, which is your therapy, whoever you talk to, your spirit. Do you have a spiritual practice? Are you meditating? Are you feeding your mind, your spirit, however way you do it? Do you have fellowship with a group of people? Are you in a coven? Do you go to a church? Whatever it is. And do you have this in your life? Do you have that spiritual connection that connects you with divinity? The upper spirit realms, and your body. Your body is what are you putting in your body? Are you staying hydrated? Are you eating the right foods? Are you energizing yourself? You have to change and work at all these things in order for you to make progress, and that takes time. The tapes that we play in our heads, and I have them, of you're not enough, this and that, whatever it may be, they were not recorded in a day. They were recorded over a lifetime. So give yourself a break. Don't say that you're not making progress. And this is why we recommend journaling a lot as therapists. And I used to hate, I'm like, in journaling, until I watched, I don't know if it was Matthew McConaughey or something, and he was like, we don't have to overcomplicate things. Your journal can just be opening it up and saying F today. It doesn't have to be this huge soliloquy. But what it does is it gives you a reference point to look back over time and see how far you've come. And over time, you'll see that these epic days are a lot less, and wow, today was good days are more. And you get to notice patterns of behavior, like your triggers. You're going to start to see these things. And then you're going to start to learn to build better coping strategies, whether it be kickboxing or, I just saw this thing online that I really want. It's a thing you put on the wall and it plays music and you can box.
Right.
It was like, the game Simon where you push the thing, but it's boxing and you put it on your wall. I'm like, oh, I want one of those, expend that energy.
So shout out to Rosemary Kinney in the chat room, where they say you have to forgive for your sanity and peace within. If you keep harboring the thought of what the person did, then it eats away little by little inside, blocking positives, things that can brighten your life and make you happier.
Yeah, well, Wayne Dyer said it best. What you focus on is what you bring, right? What we focus on, if we're going to focus on negative, that's all we're going to see.
Fire Jewel in the chat room says, in any kind of trauma hits in several places at once, and healing each thread takes time. Mm-hmm. Every emotion that came with what hurt you go on many, many places.
Absolutely.
Years.
Not just that. It's somatically, I've been studying somatic healing. And what that is, all right, we always think of the psyche when we think of the brain, right? We think of psychologically, like Jung and all that. But the brain is a physical thing. And the brain is freaking amazing. Okay, it's anybody that knows me knows I'm a brain nut. Anything about the brain. That was my favorite class in psychology was neuropsychology. And what your brain does is amazing. It controls everything. And it tries to be your best friend. Because what happens is you go into fight or flight mode. You experience trauma and your brain is like, my God, that's too much for Harold to handle.
The most powerful tool of the witch.
I'm just going to tuck that away.
Yeah.
And so, that's why a lot of people feel numb after, your brain is protecting you. And when you're experiencing PTSD, you kind of get stuck. There's a piece that gets stuck there, right? Because you keep going back to that trauma and reliving it. And what it is it's your physical brain is trying to help you. But what happens is your psyche is still awake and aware, right? Your psyche never shuts down, your subconscious, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to take that disturbance and bring it out in other areas of your life, whether it be behavioral, kleptomania, like all these weird things, disruptive behavior, dysregulation, anger, bursts of anger, risky lifestyles, all these different things is how it manifests. It also can manifest within your body. My shoulder hurts. I don't know why. I've gone to the doctor. I've had x-rays. I've had this. I've had that. Different areas of the body. And if you look at Eastern medicine, correlate with different emotions and different pains, right? So your brain has a lot of control. Somatic healing is a way to take the trauma in your body and release it through different types of, you incorporate psychology and you incorporate physical activity like Tai Chi or Qigong, where you take that energy and you push it out of your body. Yoga is another popular one that they're doing with that right now, somatic yoga. Mm-hmm. But that is what somatic healing is. It is releasing the trauma in your physical self, because we all, like I said, we always just focus on the mind, on the head, but we have a body and a spirit too.
Right. All right. Quick commercial break, about a minute long. We'll be back with somatic healing with mind, body, and soul with Joanne right here on Witchcraft TV Tarot.
Merry meet and welcome to Festival Fun on Witchcraft TV, where we talk about paganism, witchcraft, spiritual festivals, conventions, and other gatherings. These events are a wonderful way to learn about magical practices, to participate in rituals, and meet like-minded people. It's a whole lot of fun. With your host, A.C. Fisher and Harold Sanford Carter III. Welcome to Festival Fun.
As we weren't able to produce any fairies, we found a self-professed witch instead, Dr. G.B. Gardner, sweeping the crossroads near his home in Castledown, placing the dust in a shoe in which it's taken indoors, is done to simulate sweeping away continuous bad luck. These superstitions are typical. Many fishermen will still cancel a fishing trip if they see a red-haired woman or a cross-eyed man. In a tiny island 30 miles by 10 miles, there's a whole world of beauty, interest, and enchantment.
All right, we back. Witchcraft TV Tarot. We got to play the pioneers. We got to play the old.
I know.
Gardner. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be no Witchcraft TV. You heard me?
None of us would be here right now if it wasn't for people that paved the way. And
hey, I want to learn more about systematic healing. Okay. It seems like that the audience. I do want the audience to know that if you need a reading, put it in the comments. We're here for you. I'm trying to get Witchcraft TV Tarot every day. It's at different times, and that's only to better accommodate the people devoting their time to put on that with because I'm reaching out to the wisest tarot card readers that I know and all this stuff. But let's do some systematic healing. Take me through some systematic healing, and I'll even use something that hits home for me personally, and people can apply this. Our viewers can apply this. When this streams back on Witchcraft TV on the station tomorrow, if you're watching, you can apply this. I have trauma with my biological father who died in a fire when I was a boy, a 12-year-old. Okay, 6 other family members died in that same fire.
Yeah,
it's very traumatic, and I've never really come to pass with it. How do I use systematic healing with that scenario of trauma?
what you would do is you're going to basically, I don't want to say go back into that state of feeling the trauma, but whenever you start to feel that, you want to, for somatic healing, Qigong is really good because there's a lot of things you can do that you can do throughout your day, right? That aren't going to draw attention to you. You know, like you can't be at work and strike a yoga pose in the middle of the office. Well, you could, but people might think you were a little strange. But if you do something like Qigong or Tai Chi, you can easily, once you start to feel that emotion coming up, you're going to do that Tai Chi movement, right? And you're going to stretch out and you're going to feel that releasing in your body. Also, when you feel that emotion, pay attention, not just to your mind, because again, that's automatically where you're going to focus. My head's bucked up. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. My head's messed up. I'm starting to get anxious, right? You're going to pick up on that feeling and you're going to sit with it a minute and you're going to, where are you feeling it in your body? Is it your stomach? Like, what were you feeling right before that happened? When that thought came into your head, did you get a knot in your stomach? Did you get a twinge in your neck? Did you get a pain in your arm? Did you suddenly freeze and couldn't do anything? You're going to want to pay attention to what's happening because these are your signals and you're going to want to focus on that area. So if it's your leg, you're going to want to maybe do a deep knee bend out, like they do in Tai Chi, where you just do like a little stretch. You can be at your desk, get up and just kind of stretch your legs. You're going to want to focus on wherever you're feeling that pain within your body. If it's your head, maybe do some head rotations, and neck rotations, shoulder shrugs. I get it in the shoulders all the time, is where I get my stress and my trauma. It hides in my shoulders and I'm forever like, that's why you'll see me always doing this stuff. You know what I mean? Kind of like getting the shoulders moved and releasing that trauma out that way. And you're going to visualize your body's energy, which is why I like Qigong, because it takes that energy that's within us and it moves it around and you can express it out of your body. You bring in that positive energy and you pushing out all that toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
That's
someone in the thank you for that, Joanne. I appreciate that. And our viewers appreciate that. Somebody in the chat room there, they would like a reading. I would love a reading, please. And that's from GZ. And if we'll get a little bit of time where Joanne can get, collective with her spirit guides or to ground and center, whatever she needs to do.
Well, does she want a tarot or oracle?
Right. So do you want a tarot or an oracle? And do you have a particular question, or is it just a universal reading that you're asking for? And we'll give GZ a little bit of time to be able to type something in the comments for that.
Absolutely.
And until then.
But also meditation is a good way. But again, I'm trying to get people to not just focus on their head.
Right. So you are watching Witchcraft TV, www.witchcrafttv.online. We are fair representation for all pagan, witch, and magic paths. And we're still waiting on GZ to write something in the comments because they wanted a reading. And we will take a quick commercial break while she can write something there.
Do y'all know about witchcrafttv.online? Been watching that the last couple days. Constantly going, I'm learning interesting stuff. And it turns out, apparently, I have a show there at midnight every night at witchcrafttv.online. witchcrafttv.online. Check that out. I'm going to tune in at midnight and see what it is I'm doing there.
So we're back, and GZ still hasn't commented anything. So
Who is this?
not sure.
Somebody's writing in a weird language.
Yeah, that's that was part of a part of something that was negative and needs to take time to deal out.
Well,
That's something that I can't update until a specific amount of time, and then we'll be updating.
oh, I gotcha.
GZ, if you're still there and you would like that reading, would you like oracle cards, tarot cards, and you have a particular question? And we'll be standing by for that. And it's very possible that they're no longer watching the show.
You might pop back on. So
right, our viewer count did go down while we were trying to organize that, but that's okay.
I'll inbox her and see.
It's okay, and things happen.
All right, it's all good. Easy.
So, what's going on with your endeavors with Inside the Sacred Circle? I heard there's a new show, there's a new interview coming up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, we got Terry Corson coming up. Have you ever heard of Terry?
I have heard of Terry Corson in different feeds, throughout social media. That'd be interesting to watch. Yeah.
Such a powerful force of a woman. She's a female truck driver, first of all, and she's also a channeler, a healer, and she does some pretty amazing things as far as the 5D and all that ascension work and things like that, and raising the vibration. She's really, I'm excited to talk to her. I've been watching her for a while, and she really has some good things. And, again, reiterating what we're saying here, as far as, self-care can be as simple as a 5-minute meditation, a 1-line journal entry, finding something that you're grateful for, even if it's, today I wore 2 of the same colored socks. Can be anything minor like that. We don't, we're always thinking we have to do these big things, and that's not what it is. We want to focus on the little things, because those are what matter. When you come home, it's, taking that walk with your dog or snuggling with your dog. Sometimes therapy is a chick flick and a gallon of ice cream. It can be whatever it is. You don't have to make it great. And I'm challenging everybody to at least every day do one self-care thing for yourself. Establish it, whether it's at night before you go to bed, in the morning when you get up, whatever it may be. Do a couple of Tai Chi poses before work. Do these things.
So in the chat room, Fire Jewel says, I was just going to say the little things are the most important. We're getting about to the end of the show. Do you have any closing words? And do you have any idea what you'll be talking about next Monday on Witchcraft TV Tarot?
Well, does anybody in the chat have a topic that they want me to cover right now, as far as, because we are in stressful times? It can be how to journal, anything. What is it that you would like to know a little bit more about? Because like I said, yes, I do tarot, but I also, like to help people get through what they need to get through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pull one card for G while I'm doing that. So G, if you catch the replay, what does that GZ need to focus on? Let your dreams be woven true. G, that message is for you.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you're wanting to manifest in your life, you need to bring that forward so it will grow. You're planting the seeds while you're dreaming and resting and thinking on these things. You're planting a seed, and it's time to nurture that seed to let it grow and help you move forward. That's where you're going to get your growth. That's where you're going to rise high and get that vibration. And I am using the Dreamweaver Oracle right now from Colette Baron Reed. And if you see, you got the woman there, you got the fish, which is interesting because the nodes are in Pisces right now. So we're all a little bit dreamy and in the water. See the whale down there and all that. And We need to get up here. We need to find that balance. That balance. So take your dreams, G. Pay attention to your dreams and what you want in your heart to bring that manifestation up. And, you know, what I want to say to people before we leave is I challenge you guys to take a little bit of time, either in the morning or at night or both or in the afternoon, to just take even 2 minutes, even 20 seconds of Zen. You need a 20-second of Zen video? Hit my inbox and I'll send you one to just look at and just and start doing that. We'll start with 20 seconds a day and see how that changes. You know, whatever gives you Zen. For Harold, it's his music. Music is my thing too, you know. I'm not a big TV person. Like, you could take away my TV, but no one's taking my Spotify. I'll fight them for it. I always have it playing in the background. I think I got Iron Maiden going on right now. But, you know, we all have our things. And what about you, Harold? What's your message?
Well, my message is to keep it right here on www.witchcrafttv.online. We are fair representation for all pagan witch and magic paths.